Okay, welcome back, guys. We're going to continue with where we left off. Um, we finished windows and doors. I've gone through and added a few more extra things, like this bay window and some other things since we last talked. So what I want to show you guys today is how to make a second floor if you want to. Also how to make some pillars and how to do the paint. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So first thing I want to do is make my roof so that it's solid. So I'm going to get the line tool and I'm going to go ahead and just connect a line that goes across. So I'm going to pick from this point over. I'm just going to connect a line so that it makes the top of the ceiling solid. And then I can go through and delete that line. So now I just have a solid face on here. Now next what I got to do is kind of decide how I want the second floor to look. Do I want it to be just straight up from the top? Or do I want some of the roofs to sit back a little differently than the others? A lot of it depends on what your porch is going to be. So for example, my porch is going to come across this way. And then I'll have the roof that kind of goes this way. So I'm going to have this part so that it sets back just a little bit. And then this part will just go up at the same height. Now, if I only want parts of my roof to stick up higher than others, then I would kind of design that in this part right here. So first thing I'm going to do is just decide kind of how I want this part of the roof to stick up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and just draw a line that goes back this way and another line that goes back this way like this, because this section I'm for sure going to bring up. And then in this part, I'm just going to have it be, well, I'm kind of deciding as I'm going here how I want it to be. So we'll just kind of play it by ear as I go. So first thing I'm going to do is I definitely want this part to go up. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this part up. Now, what I like to do is give myself a foot extra for the floor. And then I add on how tall the ceiling would be. So I did a 9-foot ceiling on this. So I'm going to add a foot to that. So I'm going to, with my push-pull tool, I'm going to drag it to wherever, and then I'm just going to type in 10 feet. That way I get my floor, which is about a foot, and I also add the height of my ceiling. So that part is going to be sticking up higher than the rest of it. Now over here, I'm going to have a roof. I'm not going to have anything over the top of my garage. And maybe I'll bring this part up as well. So let me just drag this like this. And we'll go ahead and bring up this section too. So we'll get my push-pull tool again, and I'll just pull it and match it with the face of this, and then it'll be the exact same as that. Now, I don't need some of these lines, so I can come through and erase some of these lines here. This one and that one. Now, I also do want to have my wall thickness, but only just on the outside of the house. So in order to add this part of the thickness, if I pull it up right now, you can see that it'll bring up the whole wall, and I don't want that. I want this part to have a wall on it. So I'm just going to get a line and draw from here to here, and then I'm going to go separate that piece over on this side too, make it so that this part comes out like that. And then I'll get my push-pull tool and I'll pull it up and match it with the face here. So again, to match it with the face, I just drag it and point it the face that I want it to match. And I can again go through and delete that line because I don't need it. And let's see if I've got an extra line here too. I do. Okay, so that way we still have the wall thickness. That way when we do our windows and things like that, then it'll be good. So now something that's important when I'm doing my second level is knowing where the floor is. So I'm going to make a mark that goes to the top of my ceiling, which I know my ceiling, my porch is 2 feet up, and then my ceiling down on the main floor is at 9 feet above the floor. So I'll go 11 feet for that. And then I know my floor comes up a foot. So I'll just type in 1 foot and enter. That way, when I do windows and the other things that I'm trying to do, I give myself ample room to be able to do it. Okay, so I've got that main part. Now, if I want another part of it to stick up a little bit, I can do that too. So I'm going to go ahead and make this section right here well, let's see, with the roof is going to kind of go this way. So I want to have a section that sticks up back here too. So I'll show you kind of what I mean. So first thing I'm going to do is kind of section it off. Actually, I want to know exactly how big it's going to be. So I'm going to measure over from here, and it's 1'6", which means I want to come over here 1'6" to match it. So we'll type in 18 inches. And that way this part of my house is going to be kind of sectioned off. And then I can make a measurement line that connects with that line right there. Okay. And now I can come in with my line tool and connect from here to here. But I actually don't want this part to stick up like that. So I'm going to have just the middle part sticking up from about right. Let's see. Get my tape measure out again. So I want it to come in, I don't know, about 8 feet, sure. Oops, I didn't do that very well. I got to do that again. So make sure that when you drag it, you're on the right axis. I want to be on the green axis, and I would think I was going on some other axis. So I'm going to type in 8 feet here, and that's how far it will stick out. And then over here, I'm going to have it come back about 6 feet, and that way I can do some different stuff with my roof along the top here. So then I can take my rectangle tool and draw in this section. So this part of the house is going to just stick up through the roof, because the roof is going to come at an angle like this, and I'm going to have kind of a little section that pokes out through the side of the roof over here. So this part I'll again bring up, I'll match it with that for the height. And then I'm also going to add in the wall with that. So just draw this in real quick. And we'll do the same over here. So now it all looks a little bit obscure right now. It's hard to know exactly how it's actually going to look when it's finished, but that I will show you later when we do the roof. But this makes it so I can start drawing in windows and things like that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give myself some windows, and maybe what I'll do is just kind of match these windows right here. Then I can have those 4 windows along the top here as well. So we'll just come and start drawing some guidelines to help me. And well, let's see, I'm going to go back. I want to just do the outline of the window, and then I'll use the offset tool later. So I'm just making guidelines that will show up over here, which saves me a ton of time later, because then I know exactly where, in reference to these windows, I need to put my other windows. Okay, so we're almost done here. So we'll get the line tool again. Remember, it's just L. Actually, not the line tool, the tape measure. We'll do the tape measure, and now I've got my windows that go here. Now I got to decide kind of how high I want them to be. I actually want them to be the same height as this. So I'm going to go 7'4", and I'm going to have them come down the same distance from the top of the house as I did over here. So in order to do that, I got to add a couple guidelines just to figure out where that was, so I know where to measure. Now, if you don't do guidelines just like this, that's fine. I'm going to put a guideline here. So we're up 9 feet. Oh, so let's see how far we are from here. So 1 foot from the ceiling. So we're going to do the same thing over here. So I'm going to bring this one down 1 foot, type in 1 and enter. And then it was 7'6". And then enter. Okay, so I've got my windows. Now I've got a lot of guidelines right now, which I want to get rid of a few of them in just a minute, but we'll go ahead and make this. Now I want to double check to make sure this is actually 7'6", like I wanted it to be. Okay, good. So I'm using the right window there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I can copy and paste this. Actually, let me create the whole window, and then I'll copy and paste it again. So I'll come in here and use my offset tool. So I'll click the face, hit F for offset, and I'll drag this out so that it's at 4 inches. And then now I can come over and hold shift and I can select these 4 lines as well as the face. So if I want the face, then I just select it too, all while holding shift. Then I let go of shift and do Command C to copy, and then Command V will paste, and I can go ahead and start laying these out where I want them to go. Well, actually, I need to make myself a few guidelines, so that way I can place them in the right places. So the window goes to here. Well, let me actually erase some of the guidelines here that I added from before because I don't actually need them. I'm going to add some different ones in there. So now what I want to do is I want to get a guideline for the edge of this trim. So I'll go ahead and do that here. So we'll just put, so one window goes there. Another window will go there. Another window will go there. And the last one should go right there. So that way I'll just drag and drop this into that position. And then the bottom of the window is going to be on this guideline right here. So now when I Command V, I can snap it right to that intersection. I'll do the same over here, Command V again. And you see I'm just putting it all on that little section. So now I have those 4 windows. Now I can get my push-pull tool and push it in. And we're going to go ahead and just double click all those. We want to remove the face for now. And then we're going to add back in the face of it because now it became 3-dimensional. So we want to, and I'm not quite sure what that, oh, that's, okay. I was wondering what that line was over there. Okay, so now we're going to, I'm just going to go in and just draw these in real quick. Okay, and then that'll be all I do with my windows for now. I'll have this updated for next time with all the windows that I want. Okay, now I'm going to get my bucket tool, my paint bucket, and use the glass paint again and paint all these windows so that they're glass. So now we have the basic part of the house. This part will stick up also, so there'll be some windows and things like that that come off of this section. So, all right, so that is, that's doing the second floor. And yours may be a little bit different, and that's okay. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to get rid of these guidelines just because they make a huge mess. And now I want to show you guys how to do some pillars. So I'm going to do 2 pillars here. Well, actually, maybe I'll just do 2 total. I'll do 1 here and 1 here. So pillars are really easy. Biggest thing is you got to decide how far in you want it to go here. I like to just come in like, we'll just come in 2 inches, sorry. We'll come in 2 inches here. Actually, we'll go 3. And then I will come in 3 here. Okay, so, and then I'm going to build my pillar right here. The good thing is it marks over, this guideline goes all the way across, so it's really easy to make my other post. So this is going to be 3 inches here. And then I got to decide how big my post is going to be. So I'm going to do posts that are 1 foot by 1 foot. So I'm going to come over here. Well, actually, I'm going to go a little bit bigger. We're going to go 1'4", which is what, 16 inches. So then I'm going to type in 16 inches here. So that's going to be the base of my post. So I would do the same thing over here. Type in 16 inches. And there's where my post will start. And I've got 2 places for posts. I'll get my rectangle tool and I'll draw it on the ground. I'll draw this on the ground as well. And my post is going to actually have multiple parts on it. So we'll just start by pulling up to the small section. So I want to do something, let's look here real quick. At a house, and we'll just talk about kind of the post that I'm talking about. So this image right here, let me make it a little bit bigger. See, it's got the post on it. So it has a base right here, and then it's got the post that's thinner than that, and it has a little bit of trim and things like that around it. So yeah, so that's what I'm going to do with that section. So I'll go ahead and do that. I'll pull this up. And this part will be about, I'm going to come up 2 feet for that section. And maybe I want to, let's see, just looking at it. Maybe I want to come up just a little bit higher with that. So we'll undo that and I'll come up 2'6". That's a little better. And then I can just double click this one because it remembers my last measurement. Now, if I want to do the post where it's a different thickness here, now I'm going to get my offset tool again. And I'm going to just pull that in. And because we'll just have it come in 3 inches here. So this is 3 inches thinner than that part is. Well, actually, I'll do that for the post part, but then I'm going to do a little bit of trim around it. So that part I will pull out from here. I'll pull out 1.5 inches. Okay, there we go. So that way it's divided kind of equally. All right, then I would do the same thing over here. I'm going to come in, come in 3 or 6 inches right here. Sorry, 3 inches. And then I will come in from here, I'll come out 1.5. Okay. And then now it's time to start doing some push-pull. So we'll get the pull. And I'm going to pull this beam up right here. I'm going to match it with the top of my roof. So the way that I do that is I just click and I just pull it up and match it with one of these, with the line right here. So now I've got my basic posts, and then I want to do the trim part right here. So I'm going to come up and just make it so it's sticking up 4 inches. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Then I'll do the same thing over here. So 4 inches. So now if you look at it, I've got my post that looks nice. Okay, next thing and then later I'll show you guys how to do the roof. We'll have an overhang part right here, and we'll make it look all fancy and whatnot. So, but for now, I'm going to show you guys how to do some paint, and also how to do, if you want to do like half brick or something and half siding. So I want to come up from the bottom up here. We're going to come up 3 feet. And that's where I'm going to make this part like a rock or a brick that goes all along the bottom here. So in order to do that, I just get my line tool and I'm going to draw from here to here. And I'll connect there to there. And here to here. And then that way I'll have some rock that kind of goes all along here. And I'll do the same thing on this face. So we'll have the rock or the brick that goes up this high all along. And then what I do is I'll paint it, and then I'm going to pull it out, and I'm also going to pull out my windows, my trim, to make it look nice. So yeah, and if I don't like the way it looks, I can go back, and next time I'll have it looking a little bit better for you. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the paint bucket. Over here at the paint bucket, if you first come in on the home, it shows you the colors that are in your model. I don't want any of those colors for what I'm doing right now, so I'm going to go to the browse, and I want to look for brick and cladding. So I want to do like a rock on the outside or something like that. And the options aren't awesome here, but we'll just pick this one right here. So I'm going to do kind of a red rock that goes along there, and you can see now it's starting to look nice, right? So I got that, and then if I wanted to do the same thing over here, I would draw the line and then do similar to what I've done on this side. Now that I've done that, the good thing is once it's painted, if I pull it, it'll actually bring the color with it. So whatever the color was, it will bring it. Otherwise, if we go back here and I pull, and I bring it out and I want to paint it, I'll have to paint that, and then I'll have to go and paint all these other little corners. And it's a huge pain to do that instead of just painting it and having it become that color. So let me go back, Command Z, and we'll go ahead and paint it the way we want. And then I will use my push-pull tool. And I'm just going to pull it out like 2 inches, because that's about how far brick will stick out. So now you can see it's three-dimensional. This part over here, I'm going to come and paint also and get my push-pull tool, and I'll pull it out 2 inches. Okay. Then I can go through and I want my windows to just be the white color. So I can come and pull this out too. I'm just going to pull it out an inch. And then I'm going to double click to make these other ones so they pull out too. So the double clicking just means that you match whatever color or whatever thing that you did for the last one. So let's see here. How far did I go with my trim? Well, this trim looks like it's out a little too far. So I'm going to pull it back and then I want to pull it out 1 inch. Okay, there we go. That's better. So now we've got our trim around here. I also want to bring this part out and I can click and match it to these places right here. And now I've got my door frame. Other paint, let's say that I want to do this post right here. I can go ahead and I'm going to paint that the same rock color. Whoops, need to get the bucket again. So B, and I'm just going to come around and paint this. Now, if I really wanted it to all be that color, at first I could have just left it. Like for example, let me just show you. If I were to draw that and use my push, or before I use my push-pull tool, paint it, the whole thing would be that color. So in hindsight, I probably should have done that, but we'll just go ahead and paint it. It's not too hard. So I'll just go around and paint all these different places that are rock. And that way I've got my rock post that stands up that high. All right. And then I do the same thing over here. Just go and paint this post right here. Just kind of orbit around here and paint that last color. Now we can do the porch. Porch, I want to do some kind of concrete or even kind of I could do like a tile or something like that, but we're just going to go for, let's see what this one looks like. Yeah, I don't know if I love that one. Let's see what this one looks like. Yeah, I like that, like that color better. So now I'm going to go through and just paint all my stairs and make sure I get all the edges and make sure everything gets painted. Okay. So that's basically all for this one. We'll get to this point where you do your second level and do all of your paint. And then later for the next tutorial, I'll show you how to do a roof and any other little things that we need to do. Okay, well, thanks guys. Oops. We'll go ahead and stop sharing here and see you next time.